Yeah. So our first event, our flagship event is going to be in the DC area. That's going to be June 11th to 13th. Then we'll be taking Rebellion to Amsterdam. So over to Europe across the pond. And that is going to be September 2nd to 4th. And then we are going to head to the West Coast, San Francisco, November 3rd through 5th. So three geographic locations that, are right in the epicenter of tech and AI.
Welcome to Podcast Wise Perspectives, Cybersecurity, and AI. Right now, the intersection of cybersecurity, modern infrastructure, and AI implementation is defined by three distinct realities: chaos, the unknown, and a massive operational gray area. The market is saturated with high-priced corporate keynotes that deliver plenty of marketing fluff, but zero actionable intelligence. How do enterprise decision makers cut through that vendor noise to protect their tech stacks? Today, we're sitting down with Danielle Sanders. We discuss the structural reset required to move defense left of boom to the vulnerability discovery phase, how high-endurance engineering challenges map onto production environments, and why the C-suite needs to prioritize raw, unredacted practitioner insights over expensive enterprise marketing. Let's head straight to the conversation. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Hey Danielle, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So I'm going to jump right in. So at our BLN is often described as the operator first forum that cuts through the marketing noise. If you had to describe the current state of cybersecurity hype versus the reality of things you're seeing in production in just three words, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Chaotic, it would be number 1 off the bat,
Yeah.
unknown,
Okay.
and a gray area.
Okay. Tell me your thought process on those three words.
Yeah, so, just from our experience, the team here, when we were building the conference and going to some of the bigger conferences, there's just so much about AI, cybersecurity that's out there, but
Mhm.
people need to take a step back. I use the analogy all the time of when the internet took off and everyone was scared of the internet and what's it gonna bring and what's it gonna do, but we've all been in this, place before where there's new technology out there, and it's just how to understand it and implement it with what you're currently doing. So I think it's a hype words. Everyone hears AI, but they're like, what, how are we using it? It's not gonna take all of our jobs away and things like that, but how can we implement it into our current systems? So I
Mhm.
say chaos just because it's got that factor of people are scared of it, the unknown. That's where the gray area also comes in. So yeah.
Those are the great three words to encompass what
Yep.
this current state is. Okay, so when you created RBLN, what specific breaking point or systemic problem in the industry were you trying to solve that existing forums weren't addressing?
Yep. So I will say it stands for RBLN stands for rebellion. So we are what we like to say the rebellion against those bigger overpriced cons that people are
Mhm.
going to. And what really was the breaking point was spending our CEO was spending so much money to have to be at these bigger events and go to them and have a presence. But then at the end of the day, they weren't walking away with any tangible takeaways.
Yes.
So we wanted to bring the influencers and the decision makers into one room to collaborate and work through where is the future going, what's working, what's not working, what's breaking, what's failing. And so that is where we came up with rebellion of smaller scale technical curated audience that's doing the work every day, coming together to have candid discussions and conversations and roll up the sleeves and work together without an enterprise price tag.
Nice. So, how is RBLN fundamentally different from the big box cybersecurity and AI conference? You touched a little bit about it. How does the world need a rebellion right now?
Yeah. So, like I said, number one factor is the price tag. We are
Mhm.
making it affordable for students that are in cybersecurity, for decision makers, for CISOs, for middle of I would say the network, the influencers, the practitioners, to all be able to afford to come. And then, from a startup standpoint of companies that are out there that have a new solution or product out there, they can also come and be able to have these discussions in a smaller, more intimate environment. We will have workshops, we'll have the underground exhibit hall to showcase your products and solutions, and then we'll also have the actual technical sessions. So, what's making us stand out more is we're not going to just have a keynote speaker on the stage talking about theory. Instead, we're going to have a CEO or co founder who started from the ground up a company, and they're going to tell us, what worked, what didn't, and how they're continuing to grow from there. So, those harder conversations, and they're going to be open to a full room of people, not just higher ups.
Okay, so it was more like a does it be more akin to a tabletop exercise?
Yep. So yeah, I kind of walk you through the setup of it. So we'll have tabletop workshops and exhibits so that people can actually see a demo or a product in
Okay.
action. Then we'll have the technical conversations that are going to be, panels on stage or workshops talking back and forth, being able to have that collaborative forum.
Okay.
And then we'll also have an actual IoT and hacking village as well for, the more hands on.
Nice, nice. So RBLN is famously selective. Who is this designed for? And how do you decide who gets an invite to ensure the high signal environment remains intact?
Yep, great question. So, we have a team here that is fully focused on attendee marketing. And so when we are going after, the attendees that we want to fill the seats with, it's a curated group.
Okay.
We're really going after folks that are, doing the work on a daily basis in security, AI, infrastructure, solving defense problems. So we are, really making sure that between our speakers that are on the stage, as well as our attendees in the audience, that it's the right group of people that, can reach the technical side of it, but also have a leadership role too.
So I feel special because I got
Yeah,
accepted.
you are special because you got invited.
Yes. So for the executive listening, what are the specific dates and location for our BLN this year, and where are you taking the rebellion next?
Yeah. So our first event, our flagship event is going to be in the DC area. That's going to be June 11th to 13th. Then we'll be taking Rebellion to Amsterdam. So over to Europe across the pond. And that is going to be September 2nd to 4th. And then we are going to head to the West Coast, San Francisco, November 3rd through 5th. So three geographic locations that, are right in the epicenter of tech and AI.
Nice, nice. All right. So, you've advocated for moving defense to the vulnerability discovery phase. For a CEO, why is investing in the left of an exploit more cost effective than traditional reactive recovery? So, tell me, so the RBLN East features a 24-hour endurance competition. What
Yes,
does that
so
no
we are doing
pause
what we're calling the
environment
Rebellion
teach us
Gauntlet.
about how
Like
we
you said,
should be
24
building
hours
mission
endurance
critical
competition.
systems?
This is where we want the engineers, the hackers, the operators, the builders to come together. You can either do it by yourself and you will be handed a challenge right then and there, and you'll have 24 hours to solve it, and then present it to the entire audience. And it's going to be voted on by the audience as well. So the influencers and decision makers out in the fields are the ones that are actually from the competition participants of, what are they presenting? What did they build and why? So we're excited that it's going to be audience voted of who gets to win, not just a judge.
Okay.
Gr- Great question. During the event, so we will kick it off on Friday
Okay.
morning. We will
So
announce
during
what
this
it is.
24
There'll be an
hours, is that
entire room dedicated
prior to the
that's
event
open
or is
24
it
hours
during
for
the
then the
event
teams to go in
itself?
there and collaborate together. And then we'll present the winners on Saturday evening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. That's different from all the other conference. I never heard of that. So that's pretty cool.
Great
So
question.
tell me what
So I will say
so
my
moving
previous
from your old job,
career, I
what
was
was
a lot
something
more
that
on the
was
DoD
hard for
side of the
you,
house. So
a
not as much
habit
with
that you
public
had to
sector
break to
commercial
become more of
companies.
an
So
effective
just kind
leader?
of learning and meeting and growing my network, I think has been a learning curve in the sense, I knew
Mhm.
DoD and the, purchasing routes and how that kind of worked and acquisition routes and stuff like that. So now switching gears and, recruiting and marketing more towards industry, commercial, public sector companies. So just, learning the ins and outs of that. And then from a leadership standpoint, we're building this event from the ground up. So getting a team in place that is just as excited and passionate about it, and giving each person kind of their key area to help build the Rebellion Conference.
Okay, cool. So if you had the CEO hat on based on, like
I
your
think
experience within the
oversaturation
conferences and
is a
whatnot
big
that you see,
problem.
what
Or I shouldn't say
do you
problem, but
think
like
would keep them
even
up
just
at
in the
night
conference
in
world,
this
there's
current
so many
development of AI and
cybersecurity,
cybersecurity?
AI events. And it's like, which ones do we pick to go to? Which ones are going to be successful and why? And I think it's part of what we're trying to build at Rebellion is a community of people that like we all do need to work together. Each company and each product and solution provides a certain thing that's going to help us with, the future of AI and cybersecurity, but how can we do that together as a community? And then affordability in a sense. Like there are just so many events that are like as I said, the oversaturation of them, but just the cost with them. And if I was a CEO, it's like, where do I spend the money? I have to go to the big one because I need to have my brand out there. But the little one might actually be the more technical, in depth conversations where I'm meeting the right person that's gonna help me, make sure I don't have any vulnerabilities exposed. So it's yeah, I think oversaturation in the market and kind of back to what I said in the beginning, just that chaos, unknown gray area, but there's so many parts of it that are so important that you need to be having those harder
Yeah.
conversations about it.
Mhm. Yeah, totally agree because
Of
I
what to
just
like
went to a
workforce
conference
development and
that I
what to see.
thought
Yeah.
would be more catered to the business side, but it was more catered to the students and the incoming next generation, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was AI focused, of course, right? And but the thing is, I saw a lot of schools.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of universities there. Even clearedjobs.com was there. So I was like, I'm not sure. This is a 3-day event. I think I'm good for one day. you know, like like I'm glad I came and I'm glad that it was in DC so that I didn't have to pay the money to go
That
to
had
travel
free
to want
business
to travel
days that you
there
had paid for to
and
be
to
there
the
when it
hotel,
was not.
right? So
And I
the
think
extra
that,
cost
that's
of
something
going to
we've
a
really
conference that's not local,
taken
I
we're
would have
proud of is
been
the
sort
agenda
of
that we're building
disappointed
behind the event
to
and the
have
speakers and the
gone there
topics
and
of what's being discussed.
yeah,
Because like you said, like people are like,
yeah,
for a conference,
exactly.
I have to be there. But then if you actually look at the, speaking sessions and who's gonna be there and what they're talking about, that's just
Mhm.
so important that the content is like
Yeah,
if you're sending your teammates, your team members there, it's actually what's going to help them, instead of just blanket AI cyber. Okay, like yeah, that it is important, but what about it? Dive into it of what's actually being discussed. How can I bring it back to my team and my work, to make me more successful? And like you said, the audience too of who they're attracting to be there. And
mhm,
I will say that like with a lot of our topics, a student in cyber, it might go a little bit over their head in a certain sense
yeah,
because we do have people that have been in the industry for years that are going to be very technical
yeah,
in what they're speaking on, versus just this is where I think the workplaces go with like our sessions, like I said, are going to have that more technical, non-commercial, just no fluff.
mhm.
Yeah. Candid at times, probably I would say not PC at times either. Oh, yes. David is awesome.
Right, straight to the point. Yeah, straight to the point, and also yeah. So so when I found our BLN for the conference, I saw that one of your guest speakers is also one of our previous podcast
Yeah,
guests,
I actually
David
just met
Gervin.
up with him, at the
Uh,
RSA
yeah,
conference,
so
about a month ago, got
he
to meet him
is,
in
he is,
person,
and I was like,
and
"Oh,
yeah, except
yeah,
he's
that
building
would be
some really
great,
cool stuff, and he's
to see
very
him,
engaging as
do
a
another speaking
speaker,
event.
and
That would
will
be
have that kind
great."
of raw,
So I was
unfiltered
like, "Oh, this is
content,
a good
so
one to
looking
go
forward to
to
his session.
because I know it's gonna be, like, technical, knowledgeable, uh, on point type conference versus the previous one I went to." Nice.
Yep. Absolutely. So, like I said, our first event is in the East Coast. It's going to
Mm,
be in Reston, and that one is exactly a month away. So it's
yeah,
going to
likewise,
be
likewise.
June
So,
11th through
out of
13th.
questions,
Our second
tell
event is going to
me,
be in Europe for our
let's
Amsterdam
repeat the
audience. That's
dates,
September
for your
2nd to
events
4th.
so that,
And
we know
then
that our
our West
listeners
Coast San Francisco edition
are,
is going to be November
can
3rd
register,
through
right?
5th. You can
And,
check it all out on our website,
yeah,
rbln.com, and join the rebellion with us. Yes. Yep. The people is That's the most important, to make sure we have the right people in the room for these speakers, and we promise you are going to learn a ton and have fun while doing it. So I appreciate you having me on and look forward to seeing you guys at Rebellion.
awesome, awesome. So
Thanks.
thank you so much for your time, and, thank you for the Wise Crews for listening. Make sure you guys register because we need more people. We need more people. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.